Good morning, good afternoon, good evening, wherever you are watching from. A little bit of a late start today, but that's okay. Got a lot of stuff to talk about today. I'll go ahead and throw our topics up. And I already know that there are going to be some tangents. So, again, that's okay because that's how travel talk goes. So I hope you guys are doing well. And how's everybody doing with their New Year's resolutions if you made them? Um, I didn't really make any, although I was hoping to start working out more. I guess, I mean, you could say in Zihuatanejo, I was doing at least what would that be? 400 and almost 450 steps a day. Sorry, stairs a day from the condo that we were in to the beach down below in the area where the restaurants and the bars were was about 100 and I think it was 122 steps. And of course, once you get down, you've got to come back up. And so, yeah, a little bit of a challenge, but whatever. It is what it is. But my butt's in better shape. So sometimes forced exercise is not a bad thing. But I haven't really been doing much since I was back. I ended up getting food poisoning, and that wiped me out. So only having 4 full days between getting home from Mexico and departing for, England tonight, I wiped out 2 of those days, so that's a bit of a challenge, but, it is what it is. So, let's go ahead and get started. So, yeah, basically doing our, recap of Zihuatanejo. So, again, is very different, very, more authentic Mexico. Cheers. Can't get through the, whipped cream to get to the hot chocolate below. We'll let that simmer down a little bit. Um, yeah, more what was interesting is so Zihuatanejo is on the, south side, between Ixtapa and Zihuatanejo. So it's Ixtapa up here, Zihuatanejo down here, and then the airport's down here. So that's convenient. We were about a 10 or 15-minute drive from the airport. So that was quick and fast. And we had a really good driver. Actually, one of in the Zihuatanejo Let's Chat Facebook group, super, super helpful. And they put a list of all these different taxi drivers out there, as well as shoppers. So, for example, the one day we were kind of running low on a few things, including wine, and I just couldn't be bothered to spend 2 hours taking a taxi out to the shops and then wandering around the shops, and then taking a taxi back, which quite frankly would have been faster, but it's also a case of, carrying everything. And so anyways, I recalled that there was somebody who does shopping for you. And so I messaged her on WhatsApp and was able to get her to deliver the groceries. So that was very convenient. The challenge though is you don't get to see what you're buying. So we wanted some cilantro. We couldn't get it from the Soriana that we had shopped at the first time. And we had made a decision that we were going to make pico de gallo. So we bought all the other ingredients. So we had like 15 tomatoes, 65 little tiny limes, and whatever else, some onions and stuff. But what we didn't have was the cilantro, and although you could make it without it, in my opinion, cilantro, pico de gallo or salsa is not the same without the cilantro. And I know people love it or hate it. I'm on the love side, but we couldn't see the size of the bunches of cilantro, and so um, And in theory, it probably was there the first day that we did the shop, but, because the woman who did the shopping for us, she went to the same place and she was able to find it. So whatever. But it was convenient being able to use her for that. However, we then wanted some white wine, and for whatever reason, it was almost non-existent at the Soriana it was Soriana at Zihuatanejo, but it was there were quite a few different kinds at the 𝖳tu𝖾li𝖾. I specifically asked for Chardonnay, or I think the other one we were looking for was Sauvignon Blanc. And unfortunately, the woman, I don't think she's a wine drinker. So all she did is she just sent me like 58 photos of all the different kinds. But then I couldn't see like the bottle and the price. So it's like, okay, well, that one looks good. How much is that? 400 pesos. It's like, okay, so that's roughly like 30 bucks Canadian, which is fine if it's something you know you like. But to throw 30 bucks at a bottle that could taste like apple cider vinegar, is a risk I wasn't really prepared to take. Yeah, gotta have the cilantro. But what was interesting is, then as an alternative to the $30 bottle of wine, I opted for some boxes of wine, which were worked out to roughly $5 Canadian. So 350 American for a liter box, Tetra box of wine. And it wasn't hideous, wasn't great, but whatever. You're on vacation, so your taste buds are a little bit different. So yeah, it was an interesting experience. I'm not really keen on the whole condo house rental thing. I think there's certain times when it can be useful, but by and large, I prefer the uh, doing the all-inclusive thing, or even a hotel. But it is nice to be able to have some snacks in the room, meals, that kind of thing. Hey, Angelo. Yeah, well, give it about 8 hours, and we'll be heading to the airport. So flight currently is scheduled for 9:30 p.m. tonight, but looks like the flight departing London has departed late. It hasn't actually departed yet. Oh, well, no, it was supposed to leave about 2 minutes ago. So we'll have to check that and see where it's at, but might be going a little bit late. But it's not bad. We land in London at 2:30. So that's pretty good timing because we can go from there, grab the tube from Heathrow to take the tube to Canary Wharf, which is where we're staying, and then pop over to the mall, which is right next door. London is where we're going. And then get some room drinks and some snacks, and then go out and explore a bit and try to stay awake. The time difference is always, I find it easier when you're going on vacation. It's when you come home and it's not like you're not excited to get up and do stuff. You're like, you did get excited about getting up and doing laundry? No, nobody does. So when you're on vacation, it's like, okay, come on, let's go and get a bacon butty sandwich, or I don't know, just a cup of English tea, which somehow is sort of sweet, and I don't mind it actually. Me, I tend towards the sweeter things. Therefore, the café de olla as opposed to regular coffee. So yeah, we're heading there, and then on Monday, flying to South Africa, and that one is sort of the opposite, where I think we fly in the afternoon, and then we land like 7:30 in the morning. So that's a bit yuck, but it is what it is. Um, all right, so that's kind of the recap for Mexico. We got a lot of stuff to go through today, so I'm gonna buzz along. Um, oh, yeah. So I told you guys I had food poisoning. So I'm laying on the couch Saturday morning, and I knew I had to get a UK visa. I think it was Saturday morning or Sunday morning. I think it was Saturday. And like an idiot, I just Googled UK ETA or UK visa, and the first thing that came up was a sponsored link, which I didn't clue into, and it was a um, it's just the first one that came up, and it looked government-ish, if that makes any sense. Um, but just like Visitax, got to use the right one. Hey, John, heading your way tonight. In theory, flight looks like it might be a little bit delayed, but yeah, excited to get to London. Have a pint, cider for me, and bacon butty, sausage roll. Really, it's all about the food for me. I have a list of pubs and different eateries to go to. Really excited to go to some of the different markets this time. One of them I don't think we've ever been to, and it's like an open air food market with just a good variety of literally everything. So that'll be super exciting. But anyways, back to this visa thing. So I clicked on it. It looks legit, of course, just like they all do. Just like Visitax, all the fake sites for that, they all look legit. Put all the information in there, and then it says, do you want expedited processing as an extra $60 American, or do you want next day processing is 30 bucks US extra, or the other one, which says basically it's no charge. Well, and I'm like, I knew that the UK ETA wasn't very much. It's a travel authorization. But like I said, I was still on the couch sick with the food poisoning, and my brain was foggy. So at that point, it goes to the next screen, and it says, it says put in your credit card information, which I already had, but it didn't show me pricing. Like that should have been the first clue. And then I put the pricing in. I put the credit card information in, and then it pops up and it says, okay, that's 120 US. And I'm like, yeah, no. So, and then it pops up a screen to do a secondary verification with the credit card. And at this point, I know I've screwed up. I've just made a classic rookie error, and I've booked the wrong thing. So, I mean, everybody makes mistakes, right? That's kind of my point. And so I closed the window for the credit card authorization. Meanwhile, I'm getting a ping or a text on my phone because I have alerts for my credit card. Actually, I have it down to, I think, anything charged $10 or more, and I'll get an alert. So I've got that sucker wired, like locked down. And I don't think that's a bad thing. I don't go shopping and buy, this and that and this and that, like all these little transactions. But I figure the little transactions can add up pretty quickly if somebody got your card and they're off, heading off to Temu, heading off to Amazon, making a lot of purchases that way. So that was concern. But I had read something about that visa. They said basically if you're not fully satisfied, you can get a full refund. So I immediately, of course, pulled up the email and said, hey, per your terms and conditions, I want to cancel. I didn't realize you guys charged 5 times more than what the actual price is. It should work out to about $30 Canadian per person. With conversion, I think it was 160. So an expensive mistake. But I submitted the request for a refund, and within less than 24 hours, I got it was on the weekend. Okay. but within less than 24 hours, they responded back and said, "No problem, we'll give you a refund. You should see that in, the usual 2 to 8 business days," because God knows they couldn't give you your money back immediately, but they can sure snatch it within about a millisecond. So it all worked out, and then I went and filled out the correct form. But again, it's just a reminder, don't let your guard down, and don't assume that you're looking at the proper form. So that was a good lesson to learn. So fortunately, like I said, the refund is being processed, and I'll get my money back. And I'm not too worried about it because I have screenshots and stuff. And worst case scenario, I'll do a Visa chargeback. But you want to give the company a chance to do right by you before going to the chargeback thing, because the chargebacks, they do negatively affect businesses. So go that route. Plaza Premium Lounge. I'll see if I can get into the hot chocolate now. That's a win. That's delicious. I mixed hot chocolate with a little a boost. I find sometimes if I don't have time to eat, it's easier for me to do the liquid boost stuff. It's like Ensure, whatever. So it's basically liquid drink, but it's chocolate flavored. I thought, well, I'll mix a chocolate flavored drink in with the hot chocolate, and it's quite tasty. There may or may not be some salted caramel liqueur in there as well. Anyways, Borough Market. Yes, that is exactly the one. And I don't think we've ever been there before. It's on the South Bank between Tower Bridge and London Bridge. Yeah, exactly. And I like Camden Market. I mean, it's weird, it's quirky, it's eclectic. So that's always fun. Notting Hill Market. Of course, I mean, I've seen Notting Hill, the movie, far too many times. But I think that's on Saturday. I've got it all. Like, I've done all the research. I've got it written down, so I know kind of which days to do what. So that'd be fun. And but the Borough Market, I mean, like the cheeses, the meats, the breads. Oh my God. So that sounds really good. I'm super excited about that. Going back, so Plaza Premium Lounge discount. So it was double checking credit card benefits. I carry the RBC. I could be a little tipsy. Don't have to be drunk. Might be drunk by the time I fly. Yeah. But I was looking for what benefits the credit cards might have, because the RBC does have a Visa that does give you 6 complimentary lounge passes a year. That's not the card I have. And British Airways doesn't have a lounge here in Vancouver. Quite frankly, even if they did, we would not qualify because we are flying the World Traveler Plus Premium Economy is what it is. So it's going to be the same as flying Premium Economy on WestJet, or what would be their business class to Mexico, where you've got the wider seats, better seat pitch. Seats recline a little bit more, which doesn't really matter, except this flight's going to be, I don't know, 8.5 hours or something. And then you get a bit of food choices. You get free drinks. In either economy or premium economy, you'll actually get a blanket and a pillow. So that's kind of nice. But I'll take my proper neck pillow, I think. And but unless you're flying business class with British Airways, you do not get access to the lounge. So I took a look at Plaza Premium Lounge, and I was just looking up, discounts and stuff like that. Anybody can go into a Plaza Premium Lounge, whether you're in Mexico, London. They have a lot of lounges in Asia, and they're fine. They have. They'll usually have like a couple of main courses, like usually a noodle dish, maybe some soup, maybe a rice dish. I've seen, what's it called? The beef stroganoff before in there. That was really tasty. And then nuts and chips and peanuts, and then a bar where you can have free drinks. Um, and what I learned is if you go to I think it's smarttraveler.com. Let me take a quick look. Yeah. Um, yeah, basically you want to look at smarttraveler.com and you can sign up for free. There's no cost to it. You earn points. I don't know if that matters. Except it does matter because if you earn a certain number of points, you can use those to cash in for free lounge access. So that's useful. Also, right off the top, it gives you 20% off the rate. And I was looking online and I saw that the Plaza Premium Lounge currently has a promotion on. We'll see if it's real or not. That it's giving an extra 10% off for walk-in rates. So instead of pre-booking, you just walk in, you get 10% off the price. So I believe it's normally $55 for 2 people. So then knock another 10% off of that is $50. And then another 20% off of that is another $10. So that makes it $40. So I put this forward to you. In what airport? Let's exclude Mexico because I know of a couple airports where you could buy, in theory, more than, say, 2 glasses of wine for less than $20. But let's just say anywhere in North America or Europe. Name me one airport where you could get more than 1 drink for $20 and snacks, desserts. So yeah, definitely check that out. Once you sign up, you also get some promo emails. So you can bring a companion in for 50% off. You get a free kid pass thing, as well as like a 1-hour extension. The normal passes are 2 hours. Historically, they don't check it that much. If the lounge is getting closer to empty, there's nobody else in there. They're going to know how long you're in. The only person going up to the bar and back to their seat and up to the bar and back to their seat. So it's worth it. Definitely worth it. Like I said, smarttraveler.com. Sign up. Doesn't cost you anything. And like I said, the Plaza Premium Lounges are located. I mean, they're not everywhere, but there are a lot of them out there. So if you're planning a trip to Europe or here to Canada, Vancouver, Calgary, Toronto, they all have Plaza Premium Lounges. So it's a different way. It's another way for you to get a travel discount. So that's always nice. I wanted to touch for a second on this whole. I know this doesn't really apply to Americans, although if you are flying from US to Canada or within Canada, you could be on one of the dreaded planes. So there was a TikTok that went viral. And as usual, it was something that got blown completely out of proportion. So to put it into context, what it was is there was this woman who was traveling with her 2 older parents, and they were going to, we'll call it the Punta Cana. I can't remember the destination. It just doesn't matter. So they flew from Edmonton to Toronto and then Toronto to Dominican. And so the video is her showing a picture of her dad, who is like 6 odd feet tall. And he's trying to put his legs trying to put his feet under the seat in front of him, except the seat pitch is so, and when they say seat pitch, what they mean is chair to chair. So the seat pitch on those is, I think, 28 inches. And if you're over 6 feet, your thigh bone might be longer than that. So, what can you do? You can either sit with your knees like up around your chest, which that's going to be comfortable for 4 hours, Or you can try to tuck your legs under the seat in front of you, but he's basically had to have them straight, and it was very uncomfortable. And so, they were saying this is a ripoff. This is a safety concern because, there's no how could you possibly brace, like if there's an emergency and they say brace, 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 how could you possibly do that? Because there's no way you could put your head between your knees. Well, color me crazy, but on what economy class plane can you fit your head between your knees without being some like crazy contortionist? There's just not the space for that. Planes aren't built like that. Basically, if you're in economy, you're putting your hands on the seat in front of you and you're tucking your head in and you're hoping for the best. We know from Mayday, the video or the TV show, that if you're actually sitting at the back, your odds of survival seem to be better. I think when if a plane is crashing, yeah, I mean, we're talking, it's like the whole thing of like, oh, if you drink bad alcohol, you could increase your chances of cancer. But it's the cancers that are, there's like 0.5% of the population gets these cancers, but it's going to increase your risk of getting those. Like, okay, I mean, I dealt with stats for a lot of my career, and what do they call them? Stats and lies. You can swing them any way you like. But again, and that's kind of what happened with this story. So it was, this whole thing was, oh my God, they couldn't fit in the seats, and oh my God, it's not safe, and oh my God, how could WestJet be ripping people off like this? Okay, so here's the alternate side of that story. WestJet purchased Swoop Airlines. They've also brought in Sunwing Airlines. Okay, so Sunwing Airlines was, cheapy cheap. Swoop was ultra cheapy cheap, but that was fine because they charged a lot less, but you got what you paid for. So it's a little bit like Ryanair. You're paying £39 to fly from London to Ibiza or London to Turkey. But if you want to check bag, extra. If you want to pick your seat, extra. If you want to sit at the front of the plane, extra. That they're going to nickel and dime you for all that stuff. But some people don't need all that stuff. Unfortunately, this is also where you have people that have created suitcases out of their clothing. And so they're taking up 1.5 seats because their width is such, because they've got a week's worth of clothes packed around their body. So don't get me started on that one. But what's interesting is, I'm going to come back to your comment. Oh, yeah. Yeah. Yes, that is the statement that I was looking for. John, I'm going to come back to you in a second. So what wasn't said is that with WestJet, what they did is they created a new fare type. You guys recall this came out like about 1.5 years ago, and it's called ultra basic. So they had basic economy, and then they had premium economy. And then on some planes, you might have also business class. For example, all flights to London from Vancouver have business class, premium economy. What WestJet did is then they said, okay, well, we have all these seats that are economy, but we want to give people a fare break, give them an option to pay less. So we're going to do the whole Ryanair thing concept. And we're going to basically say, okay, so we're going to strip all that extra stuff out of there, and we're going to offer you economy ultra basic fare. This is what the woman booked for her 6'2" father. The caveat with booking that class of fare is that you don't get to pre-select your seat. Seats will be selected for you in the middle seat of the row. You do not qualify for any carry-on bags. and you're the last boarding class to be seated, to come onto the plane and seat yourself. And so in this story, the flight attendants actually were able to move the man to an upgraded seat, just a regular economy seat, but an upgraded seat that was a little bit further forward and had a bit more legroom. So he got a free upgrade. Okay. Nobody's talking about that. Everyone is simply talking about the fact that WestJet is providing inhumane amounts of legroom on these budget flights. I don't know. I do have trouble feeling sympathetic. Tell me if I'm wrong, but I have trouble feeling sympathetic when, for example, when we were looking at flights to Zihuatanejo, regular economy tickets were about $600 round trip, which is not bad. It's kind of average for Vancouver to pretty much anywhere in Mexico. But the the ultra basic flights were like 300 round trip. So, I mean, they're cheap as chips. But what you're going to get is, no legroom. Or more restricted legroom. No, this is not on all of their planes. It's just on some of them. 20 odd, 21, 22, I believe. And they've been moved to this new seating configuration where the ones at the back have less legroom. I don't know. I think this was a slow news day, honestly. It's kind of like the person who goes to a resort and they go, well, I'm not going to book a balcony. No, I'm not going to, I don't need ocean view. I'm not going to spend any time in the room. It just doesn't matter. Okay. Well, what are you going to book? A garden view? No, I'm just going to book whatever's cheapest. Oh, okay. So it's a basic room. Okay. Yeah. And then the person gets to the resort and lo and behold, their room overlooks the parking lot and the garbage bins, the air conditioning units. And they're complaining, oh, this is incredibly insane. This is inhumane. This is terrible. I can't sleep at night because of the noise and the lights and then. Well, you got what you paid for. Again, so I don't know. Am I just being harsh? Am I just, stressed out with all this travel and I'm being grumpy? I don't know. John saying, surprised Ryanair isn't charging for the toilet yet. Awful experience unless there's no other option. Yeah, we flew, we didn't fly, I don't think we didn't fly Ryanair. We flew one of the other discount ones. It was okay. It wasn't great. But for the price, it was cheap as chips. So, why not? Okay, John is saying, pint and bacon sandwich is about 12 pounds at Manchester Airport, although I haven't been for a few months now, so probably gone up since. Plus Wetherspoon Pub will help after March. Yeah, I like Wetherspoons. Been to the one at Gatwick Airport. And they're easy, you can go online, see the menu, and you can order on your phone and pay direct, which is quite nice. So yeah, it's easy. It's usually, and there's usually daily specials too. So, but I did also find a pub near Canary Wharf that has happy hour, and it's from 4 till 6. So I'm always taken aback and surprised when we go somewhere and there's a place that has happy hour for like 5 till 6, 4 till 5. It's like they take it literally, happy hour. Whereas, and fun fact, here in Vancouver, in British Columbia, I'm not so sure about Toronto, but here in Vancouver, happy hour is like 2 till 5, 3 till 6. One of the common chains that we have here is called Brown Social House. And they have happy hour from 3 3 till 6. I think they changed it. It's either 3 till 6 or 2 till 5. I don't know. And from 9 p.m. until closing. So if you're going downtown or you're staying downtown, you're waiting for a cruise or you're just visiting, sightseeing, that's great if your hotel is near one, because then you can go for a light bite and then go for a wander, see the lights, see what's happening, see a show. And when you come back, you can always go in for a snack and a nightcap before heading into your hotel. So that's quite handy. Yeah, I think I deleted it, which is not a big deal, but yeah, handy, super, super handy. Okay, moving on. Hyatt Vivid Punta Cana finally has announced an official opening date of August 30th. So originally they were supposed to open sometime in Q3 in 2025, and then crickets. But, and I failed in my mission to find out more information when I was at Secrets Mirabelle, because the timeshare people, they love to talk and they love to tell, and I mean the sales people, they love to do the gossip about, they know the inside scoop on this and that and everything else. And they'll tell you stuff that they shouldn't be telling you. They'll also tell you stuff that they don't know for sure. But like I said, I forgot to ask, but this was officially announced through proper channels that Hyatt Vivid Punta Cana is now going to open August 30th of this year. And I've just put together a video, which I'll launch for this weekend, which just is a recap of the features of Hyatt Vivid Punta Cana, and also going to highlight a few of the detailed things from based on looking at their renderings. And I think when we look at resorts, sometimes we don't pay attention to the little details, and that's why I did that video about Secrets Mirabelle, the top, I think it was 8 things that wowed me at the resort, including the massive towels, like crazy big, which was really nice. But so I'm gonna cover off a few of those things, like little benefits, and also one of the teasers I'll give you is things like the loungers, beach loungers. Are they those those plastic ones where they have the straps across that sort of pinch your butt when you get up? Or if you have a heavier person on the chair before you, then sometimes they've got the big dip. Same thing goes with the ones that are like that canvas mesh material with the metal on the sides that's open and available. And sometimes those, like if you touch the metal, it can be like smoking hot. So those aren't great either. Then you also have the same sort of mesh canvas material ones, which are on that sort of round white plastic. And it's sort of tied, like looped around. And those are okay, except there's probably thousands of them around the world that are tens of thousands, which are broken. Just the plastic for the back, the incline, decline kind of thing. So they're not the best quality. And at the Hyatt Vivid Punta Cana, their chairs look pretty skookum, like impressively skookum, considering where they place Hyatt Vivid. You've got, you've got Zoetry, Secrets, Breathless, Dreams, and then you've got Hyatt Vivid down here. and yet, they're offering these like really nice looking lounge chairs. So I think that's kind of a cool touch. I mean, and they're not cheap. I mean, if you've ever tried to buy loungers for your backyard or your balcony, they're expensive. So, when you're buying ideally 300 or more, I mean, this resort's going to have 500 rooms. So based on that, and and I've told you guys this before, one of the pro tips is that one of the first few days, if you're going for a week to an all-inclusive resort, in the first day or two, as you're walking around getting oriented at the resort, and once you've put your towel down and saved your chair, go around and count how many loungers there are around the pool, on the beach. Make note that they're separate, and also note the cabanas, but note those separately. Because one of the questions of the day that they'll come around and ask, where you could win a prize, is going to be, how many loungers do you think we have by the pool or in total? And then you can say, well, would you include the cabanas in that? C or no. Okay, cabana, does that count as one or two? You can do your math or whatever. But I will say, over the years and I started doing this because it pissed me off to see resorts with 500 rooms, and they would have 120 chairs. Like, what? Like, are you like, you're not even trying. You're not even trying to do right by your guests. Whereas you have a resort with 500 rooms and they have 350 chairs. That's pretty good. And I would consider that acceptable because usually on the beach there are extra chairs available, stacked up somewhere, so they can expand from that. But it's got to be a decent amount. So yeah, you have the different resorts. I think that's a measure of the quality experience that they're trying to provide to the guests. Because if they have less than 50%, if you take the total room number and you divide it by 50%, and that's how many chairs they have or less, that's annoying. That's unfair. That is unfair. Yeah, so that's the update on Hyatt Vivid, and we'll see. But they have officially said August 30th. It's not like bye. It's on August 30th. So fingers crossed, but we'll see. Angela, you're still with us. Hey, curious, how was CES in Las Vegas? And also, what was the coolest gadget that you saw while you were there? I think that would be dangerous for me to go because I would be very, very, very tempted. I'm sure, with a lot of the cool stuff that they would have. Because CES, the Consumer Electronics Show, is all about the latest, greatest, coolest new technological stuff. So yeah, let us know on that, Angelo. And then I also wanted to talk about, so I got my Wise card. So I was able to use Wise. It's like you're loading your money into an app. So how to explain this? Basically, I transferred money. I didn't e-transfer. I didn't want to connect my bank account. So I transferred money from my bank account to Wise. And then I can pay out from Wise. If somebody hacks my Wise account, the funds that are in there, that's as much as they can use. So, you're never going to have tons of money in there, but you could continue to do your e-transfers, and as you're vacationing, you can spend. Basically, you double tap on the side of your phone, and it will automatically open your wallet or your Google Pay or your Apple Pay, and whatever you've set as your default payment is what it will use. So I changed it so that Wise was my default payment. I've used it at Tim Hortons here. I used it what did I use it for the other day? Something I purchased beers at the airport in Zihuatanejo with it. Tricky though, because you double tap and your Wise thing is gonna come up like that, and it basically just says, "Hold it near the reader." If you hold it near the reader before you've put in your tip or propina, then there's no tip. So, if you don't have cash on you, then, you're gonna wanna make sure that you go through that process first. Um, so don't start fiddling with your phone before you've updated the point of sale unit, for that. But it worked great, and then I finally got my Wise card. Now this does take about 20 days to arrive, but gonna take it on this trip, so we'll try it in London, try it in South Africa, and, see how we go. But why? Why wouldn't you just use debit or why wouldn't you just use your Apple Pay? Here's the thing with Wise, it does really, really good exchange rates and it's restricted to whatever's in that account. So it's not going into your bank account or anything like that unless you have those connected. And also, it does the automatic currency conversion. When you've got um, the card as well, you can withdraw funds out of your whatever you've put into, and I want to say it's like a prepaid credit card account. And so if you've got, let's say, $600 in there and you want to take some pesos out in Mexico, you can stick your Wise card into an ATM, enter your PIN, and then you can withdraw funds out of your Wise account. So, that's kind of cool. You can have your set vacation money there, and then you can go onto the app immediately afterwards and you can see what your balance is. And this is back in Canadian funds, in my case, American funds, pounds, John, if you're using that. And it's really quite brilliant. Again, if you're tapping, so at the bar in Zihuatanejo Airport, doot doot, and then held the phone near the point of sale, or the terminal thing, and boop, and it charged it. So it was $16, I believe it was, for 2 beers, which is not bad. But it just automatically converts. So you don't have to have a wallet full of 16 currencies if, for example, you're taking a cruise from, I don't know, say Venice down to Durban in South Africa. So that makes it quite convenient, just as far as convenience and your ability to get around, and also your ability to get a good exchange rate and have funds immediately available to you. Now, that said, if you are going somewhere that doesn't do a lot of card transactions, for example, in Zihuatanejo, a lot of the restaurants, especially in La Ropa, the area that we were at, it was cash only. I mean, there was the occasional person that I saw that was using credit card, but it was few and far between. Like a lot of locals were on vacation there, and it's just cash, 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 cash. So um, just bear that in mind. So if you're going somewhere that's a little bit um, technology backward, then could be a problem. But if you're going somewhere technology forward, like the UK or anywhere in Europe, it's a great way to. Well, Europe's easy because it's just the euro. UK, that's a little bit more tricky because you've got the pound sterling in England, and then Scotland. I don't know if Scotland has their own currency. Ireland for sure. Well, was it North? No, Ireland definitely has different currency depending on which side you're on, I think. Wales, I don't know if Wales has different currency. Would guess not, but I really don't know. I've never been there. So, it makes it a lot easier, that's for sure. And then once you hit Africa, it could be all kinds of different currencies. The countries are a lot larger than what you're looking at in Europe, but nonetheless, like I said, it just makes it easy for having access to a bunch of different funds in different currencies without getting killed on the exchange rate or pre-buying a bunch of cash and then having a ton of it laying around, and then you've got to go to your bank or currency conversion and try to change that back to whatever currency you would normally use. So it makes it a lot easier. Northern Ireland use sterling, as do Wales and Scotland. Okay. Yeah, so a few different options there. Southern Ireland use the euro. Oh, interesting. Oh, that's right, because that was the whole Brexit thing and why that was such a challenge. Yeah, we're staying. Good times. Let's talk about next week. Oh gosh. Next week, I will be in South Africa. And I'm getting my hair done there because it's cheap as chips. Like crazy cheap. So wish me luck on that one. If my hair is purple next week, well, it was inexpensive, but sometimes you get what you pay for. But my sister-in-law has gotten her hair done many times, so yeah. Oh, there you go. Angelo, I'm sure you'll love that comment. Yeah. Yeah, so I'm planning, my plan is to go live at the same time next week as this week. So 10 a.m. Pacific, 1 p.m. Eastern, and I think we're still at 6 p.m. England time. That's the plan. So I'll get that set up and we'll see how we go. The jet lag could be could be a problem, but we'll see how we go. Whatever. It is what it is. But yeah, just have a little chit chat, and then I think the week after that, we'll be in Durban. So I'll try to go live from the waterfront there and show you a little bit of what that looks like. So going from northern hemisphere to southern hemisphere, yeah, should be interesting. If you guys haven't already given this video a thumbs up, please go ahead and do so. And I guess that's a wrap for this week, but we will come back at you next week from South Africa. So have a great rest of your day. Have a great rest of your week. And we shall see you next Wednesday. So thanks for tuning in today. Where's my son? And thanks for watching.